Java Fundamental. Java is popular high-level, class-based object-oriented programming language originally developed by Sun Microsystems and released in 1995. Currently Java is owned by Oracle and more than 3 billion devices run Java. Java is used for mobile, especially Android, apps, desktop and web applications, web and application servers, games, and database connections. Java is a popular, open-source programming language that works on multiple platforms: Windows, Mac, Linux. It's easy to learn, secure, fast, and powerful, with strong community support. As an object-oriented language, it provides a clear program structure and promotes code reuse, reducing development costs. Its similarity to C++ and C# makes it easier for developers to switch between these languages. Java features include source code written in a high-level language, a development environment with tools for programming, bytecode, a binary format from compiled source code, and a Java interpreter that checks and executes bytecode line by line in the Java virtual machine. Java syntax defines the set of rules for writing valid Java code. It includes the structure of statements, use of semicolons, brackets, keywords, and variable declarations. Every Java program starts with a class, and the main method acts as the entry point for execution. In Java, comments are used to explain code, enhance readability, and can also disable sections of code during testing. There are two types: line comments, which start with and continue until the end of the line without needing an ending symbol, and block comments, which begin with asterisk and end with asterisk, allowing for comments across multiple lines. Variables in Java are used to store different types of data values. The int type holds whole numbers without decimals, while float is used for floating point numbers with decimals. The char type stores individual characters enclosed in single quotes, and the string type is for text values surrounded by double quotes. Additionally, the Boolean type represents two states, true or false. In Java, various data types are used to define variables: int for whole numbers, float for floating point numbers, char for single characters, boolean for true or false values, and string for sequences of characters. The byte data type is an 8-bit signed integer with a range from -128 to 127, and a default value of 0. The short data type is a 16-bit signed integer with a range from -32,768 to 32,767, also defaulting to 0. Both use 2's complement representation for their values. The int data type is a 32-bit signed 2's complement integer used for whole numbers without decimal places, with a defaulting to 0. The long data type is a 64-bit signed 2's complement integer, accommodating a wider range of values with the defaults to 0. The double data type is a 64-bit floating point used for decimal values, with a default value of 0.0. The Boolean data type represents a single bit of information with two possible values, true and false, and is used for simple flags that track true or false conditions, with a default value of false. The char data type is used to store individual characters, including letters, both upper and lower case, punctuation marks, and digits, and requires constant character values to be enclosed in single quotation marks. The string is a built-in class designed to store and manipulate sequences of characters, with string constants written between double quotation marks. To declare variables in Java programming, you specify the type of data each variable will hold. Int x declares x as an integer variable, double radius declares radius as a double precision floating point variable, and char a declares a as a character variable. Assignment statements are used to assign values to variables. For example, x equals 1 assigns the integer value 1 to the variable x, radius equals 1.0 assigns the floating point value 1.0 to the variable radius, and a equals a assigns the character a to the variable a. In Java programming, you can declare and initialize variables in a single step. For example, int x equals 1 declares an integer variable x and initializes it with the value 1, double radius equals 1.0 declares a double precision floating point variable radius with the value 1.0, and char a equals a declares a character variable a and initializes it with the character a. In Java, a constant is a fixed value that remains unchanged throughout the program's execution and is declared using the final keyword. The final double pi equals 3.14159, or final int size equals 3. To trace a Java program that calculates the area of a circle, first define a circle class with a method to compute the area, using final for constants such as pi. For instance, the circle class includes a calculateArea method that applies the formula pi multiply radius where pi is set to 3.14159 and radius is a variable. In the main class, create an instance of circle with a specific radius, invoke the calculateArea method to compute the area, and print the result. This process involves initializing the circle, calculating the area using the specified formula, and displaying the output. Increment and decrement operators in programming are used to modify the value of a variable by 1. The ++var pre-increment operator increases the value of var by 1 before using it, whereas var++ post-increment first uses the original value of var and then increments it by 1. The increment and decrement operators in programming allow you to modify the value of a variable by increasing or decreasing it by 1. For example, if you start with int I equals 10, using I++ or ++I will change I to 11. The expression int new num equals 10 multiply I++ evaluates to 10 multiply 10, resulting in new num being 100 while I becomes 11. Similarly, int new num equals 10 multiply ++I, first increments I to 11 and then multiplies, so new num will also be 110 with I as 11. Java typecasting involves assigning a value from one primitive data type to another. Implicit casting, or type widening, automatically occurs when a value is assigned to a larger data type. Explicit casting, or type narrowing, requires a manual conversion to a smaller data type. Additionally, casting between char and numeric types is straightforward. Java categorizes operators into 5 groups: arithmetic operators, which perform basic mathematical operations; assignment operators, which assign values to variables; comparison operators, which compare values and determine their relationship; logical operators, which perform logical operations on Boolean values; and bitwise operators, which operate on the binary representations of integers. Arithmetic operators perform basic mathematical operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. Increment and decrement increase or decrease a variable's value by 1, respectively. In Java, assignment operators combine value assignment with arithmetic or bitwise operations. For example, x plus equals 3 adds 3 to x, equivalent to x equals x plus 3. Bitwise operators include greater than equals for right bitwise shift, and less than equals for left bitwise shift. In Java, comparison operators are used to compare two values and include equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. In Java, logical operators are used to evaluate the relationship between variables or values. The logical AND operator returns true only if both conditions are true. The logical OR operator returns true if at least one of the conditions is true. The logical NOT operator reverses the result of a condition, returning false if the original result is true. Java uses if-else, nested if, and switch statements for decision-making, allowing code execution based on conditions and handling multiple values efficiently. In Java, the if statement executes code based on a Boolean condition. For instance, in the test class example, if mark is 70 and the condition mark greater than equals 60 is true, it prints passed. Java if-else statement executes code based on a Boolean condition. If the condition is true, the code inside the if block runs, otherwise, the else block executes. For instance, in the test class example, if mark is 60 or more, it prints passed, otherwise, it prints failed. Create a program that reads a student's exam mark and assigns a grade based on the following criteria: grade A for marks 90 and above, grade B for marks 80 to 89, grade C for marks 70 to 79, grade D for marks 60 to 69, and grade A for marks below 60. Test class Java program determines and prints a student's grade based on their score. In the main method, it initializes the variable mark to 70 and uses a series of if-else-if statements to check the score range and print the corresponding grade. Switch statement used to choose from multiple code blocks for execution. The code uses a switch statement to assign a grade based on the result of dividing a student's marks by 10. It prints grade A for scores 90 and above, grade B for 80, grade C for 70, grade D for 60, and grade A for lower scores. A loop statement enables the repeated execution of a statement or group of statements, and the general syntax for such statements is similar across most programming languages. In Java, a while loop repeatedly executes a block of code as long as a specified condition remains true. For example, in the following program, the while loop continues to print the value of n and increment it until n is no longer less than 5. A for loop is a control structure used to repeat a block of code a specified number of times efficiently. In the provided example, the for loop iterates 5 times, printing the values from 0 to 4. The loop is defined in the loops class within the main method, where n starts at 0 and increments by 1 until it reaches 5, at which point the loop terminates. A do-while loop functions similarly to a while loop, with the key difference being that it guarantees execution of the loop's body at least once before checking the loop condition. The for each loop in Java is designed for iterating through elements in an array. In the provided example, the loops class demonstrates its use with a string array of car brands. Break statement is used to exit a loop prematurely. When executed, it terminates the loop in which it resides and transfers control to the statement immediately following the loop's body. Continue statement in a loop allows you to skip the current iteration and proceed with the next iteration if a specified condition is met. This ensures that the loop does not terminate but continues executing from the beginning of the next iteration. In Java, an array is a collection of elements of the same data type stored in contiguous memory locations. Arrays enable you to store multiple values in a single variable and access them using an index, which begins at 0. Arrays allow you to store multiple values in a single variable, eliminating the need to declare separate variables for each individual value. A method is a set of statements grouped together to perform a specific operation. It is characterized by its name, parameters, and return type. In Java, formal parameters are variables specified in the method header that represent the values passed to the method during its call. They define the type and number of arguments the method accepts. In Java, actual parameters are the values passed to a method when it is called, providing the specific data for the method to use during execution. In Java, the return value type of a method defines the type of value it returns. If a method does not return a value, it uses the void keyword. A Java method is a collection of statements that are grouped together to perform an operation. When you call the system.out, println method, for example, the system actually executes several statements in order to display a message on the console. Create a Java program to input the marks of 5 students, then compute and display their total and average marks. Detailed Java code is written here. Write a program to input the marks of 5 students, then determine and display how many students have marks greater than or equal to 70. Detailed Java code is written here. Write a Java program called login that prompts the user to enter a password. If the entered password matches the predefined value, the program displays correct password. If not, the program repeatedly displays wrong password until the user inputs the correct password. Detailed Java code is written here. Write a Java program named array operations to initialize an array array1 with the values 20, 25, 10, 15, 5, and create a second array array2 of the same length. The program should display the elements of array1, then copy the elements from array1 into array2 in reverse order, and finally display the elements of array2. Detailed Java code is written here. Write a Java program named pattern that prints a pattern based on user input. The program should prompt the user to enter the size of the pattern, then use nested loops to print a triangle pattern of asterisks. Detailed Java code is written here. Thank you for watching.